What is going on, everybody? Everybody is upset about Iron Hands. Ah. And let's talk about that for a little bit. Everybody on the internet right now is freaking out over the Iron Hands debut. This past weekend, they dominated tournaments all over the world, and people are upset about it. Everybody's worried about the power creep of 40K and just the simple fact that maybe these guys are a little too strong. But I say the game is just as good as it's ever been, and I don't think you need to worry about it at all. And we're going to dig into that a little bit. 40K 8th edition is by far the most fun edition of 40K I have played. I think it's been a great game since launch. And I don't play a lot of big events. I went to Adepticon to play in a tournament when it first came out, and that was back before the rule of three, so big spam armies was a thing, and it looked like, terrible nonsense. And those people that were spamming, Hive Tyrants and what was the Razor Wings or whatever, they're the ones crying about the Iron Hands right now, or they're the ones playing the Iron Hands, because that's what those type of people do. They want to win 40K tournaments. But for you and me, or possibly just me, maybe not you, you shouldn't care at all. A lot of these people complaining about the power of the Iron Hands have never won a tournament, yet they play them all the time. They generally go, 3-2, 2-1, whatever. But they're not actually the people winning the events, really. Maybe small events, but at least I notice in Phoenix here, it's pretty much the same one or two people probably winning every single event that they attend, and they also do very well in the bigger ITC events that they attend. And the other people who are going to be very vocal about complaining about power creep or broken armies simply aren't winning the events, period, with whatever army they bring. And I think it's going to stay that way regardless. I do think there's some very, very good stuff in here. One thing that was very funny, listening to some podcasts of people who also don't win tournaments, seemingly, they're over nerfing in their mind, like what they think should be done about this, and everything makes it pretty much unplayable. So to me, that just makes it sound like, sorry, those people are probably just upset that their army doesn't have these things, and they want the Iron Hands to be nerfed so that their army can be better instead of worse than them, right? And ideally, the game is perfectly balanced for everybody's enjoyment, but assuming you have friends that you play with, you can kind of balance amongst yourselves, Now, it is unfortunate if you play a Tyranid Warrior army, right? That hasn't done well in 8th edition. And your buddy plays Iron Hands and spams Flyers or whatever's going on right now, and he's the only person you play against, you're going to get burnt out real quick on playing against that. So your buddy's either going to have to try a different list, or you guys are going to stop playing, and that's just how it is. But if you have a variety of people you play with, if you're, social with your hobby or down at the game store, I don't think it's going to be a problem. You can always just not play the Iron Hand players if you simply don't like it. But if you go to a tournament, you should be going in the mindset that you're going to have fun, because you're probably not going to win. If you haven't won before, you're probably not just all of a sudden going to be really good with your brand new, painted Tau army that you got commission painted. It's just probably not going to happen yet. So the actual people who win these events are kind of few, and they obviously take 40K pretty seriously because they're really deep diving in. And what you would consider a net list, some of these people or teams of people are actually the ones making these lists and bringing them to events. And then people on Facebook and whatnot copy these lists, and then they do, mediocre. So that's just how it's always going to be. I think another big thing, good Lord, stop complaining about a book before the FAQ comes out. Like, wow, this book right here has not even got its 2-week FAQ yet from Games Workshop. So, as always, these rules are kind of in, not beta, but not beta, but they're, in flux a little bit. There's always some chance something could change in the 2-week FAQ. So even if you're going to complain about a specific army book, Sisters of Battle right around the corner could be the craziest thing you ever seen. Imperial Fist, Salamanders, whatever. At least wait for the FAQ, because maybe the thing you hate most about it is going to change. Another thing, a lot of people on the internet too are very upset about the Iron Hands repulsor spam or Leviathan dreadnoughts. And if you look at a lot of those tournament lists that won this past weekend, they have none of those things. So people who are mad about the Iron Hands aren't even mad about the right thing. And then the people who are good at making tournament lists obviously saw through that and took, a variety of lists actually, which is pretty interesting. If you do go find the Iron Hands army list that won all those different tournaments, every single list is pretty different. So that's probably it's a really good sign for the game that a bunch of different lists can win. Bad sign for the power of this book, that they're all from this book and they're all different and they all work. But actually, it's, if all the books were like that, it would be, a utopia of good times. So don't get too stressed out about it. Certainly don't cry in my comments and my videos. I don't really care. Well, you can do whatever you want. I appreciate the comments and I like the chit chat with the community, but I still am going to say winning best painted at an event is more important anyway. So enjoy your Warhammer 40K and enjoy getting the beat down by Iron Hands.